Greetings, salutations, and hello, interwebs. This is your friendly online feline neighbor, TimidTabby, once again bringing you some video game goodness. This is another segment of solo adventuring from this feline, making certain this time I have my mic on just in case some interesting things happen to where I would like to actually comment on. Now, this particular portion is probably going to be mostly just lore dumps, because before I continue moving forward, I wanted to go back to some of the journals that we briefly got to see, or that I ran across that I didn't get a chance to really read, or anything like that. Either because I didn't want to keep Tyrek and Leo waiting, or we missed them the first time around, because we didn't explore much. This is right back at the beginning of Founder Ford's hideout or so, when we first basically started the game after the ward. And I do believe we already saw this the first time, and I'm doing this so that's easier to read. Pa, I'm dying, no two ways about it. Always thought the root would get me, or I'd live forever like you. But we can't all be heroes. You're the only person in the world who thinks he can stop the root. You know that. The rest of us... you know that? The rest of us are just trying to live our lives best we can. Me and Ellen have had to do it without you. I ain't gonna tell you to stop. Not again. Just don't think you're sacrificing for us. We've sacrificed enough. Always your daughter, Nadine. And I'm pretty certain we had read that. I read that the first time around, but I'm not entirely certain. Also smashed! And nothing. Okay. And then I believe I read this as we were heading out. Ellen, I want you to know that I love you, and that I'm sorry. Sorry for so many things. Words won't fix this. I know that. It's time for me to go. Took me a while from saying to doing, but here I am. I'm leaving to speak with the root mother and the old church past the subway tunnels. She'll show me the path away from this world, and then I'll be gone. Goodbye. And at the time, kind of had no idea what this guy was talking about, let alone thinking that it was particularly the gentleman, Ford. But I noticed that this particular area had a couple bit more tidbits. There was some iron on top of these barred, and there was something purple shining in the background here. And then I realized as I went around smashy. There! In fact, yep, that actually works. There was a hole in the wall that led right up to that spot. And so I got the iron here, and I think it was right here that there were hunter garbs. Free hunter garbs that I was able to pick up. Drifter overcoat and drifter trousers. And I have to really pay attention to the ammo that we pick up, because they do have different elemental stats that are worthwhile to really pay attention to in the future. Especially against fire and radiation. Nothing up there that I could see. But then there was this journal right up here that kind of explained a bit more about what was going on with Ford. Damn it, Ellen. It's not my fault your mother's gone. Even if I stuck around, Nadine would still be dead. And we'd know a hell of a lot less about the root. I'm doing this for her. For all of them. Oh, so Nadine died. Okay. God, she's so much like her mother. Nadine was a grown woman when I started my search to end the root. She never understood how important it was. She clung to this childish idea that the ward needed a father. What they need is freedom, a better world than the one Harsgard and Neville and the rest of us left them with. Whoops. Okay. Ellen doesn't know how good we had it before. She wasn't there. None of them were. I'm the only one left thanks to that goddamn curse. Evelyn understood, though. She wanted the root destroyed so much that... But Evelyn's gone now. She's gone. I tried to talk to Ellen again. Told her I'd stay this time, make things right. She said don't bother. Damn it! What does she want from me? I'm trying to be here for her, to see things her way. She doesn't want me to chase after the root? Fine, but at least talk to me. There's no room in the ward for me, she says, so I've been sleeping here in my office. I bet Ellen hopes I'll head out on another expedition. God knows I'm tempted to. But no, my daughter's gone. My granddaughter needs me now. There will be time enough to find answers later. Ellen handed me a letter from her mother today. She almost didn't, but she said that would have made her worse than me. The letter. I didn't know, didn't think. The root had to be stopped, but that's what Evelyn said too, isn't it? When she left me, left us, they have to be stopped. Nothing else matters. Except it did matter. I lost the woman I loved, and they didn't stop. And now I'm the monster. Damn it, Evelyn! You were wrong! Wrong! I knew it then! I said so! But how am I any different now? I could still do it. Everything's here. I can find a way to stop the root. But what's the point? What's the point of fighting when the people you care about want nothing to do with you? What's the point of anything? What? Worthless. Should burn it. Walk into the dark. Never return. Burn it all. What have I done? It's over. Half a century of notes and data. Gone! God, what have I done? It's been months since my last entry, I think. I did the right thing. Destroying my work didn't make a difference to Ellen, but it was tempting me to go back, to hunt for a solution that doesn't exist. Now that it's gone, I'm free. I don't blame Ellen for not speaking to me. I'm a stranger to her, to the ward. I could serve them better by leaving. I make a better legend than a leader. I'll give the key and heart to Ellen. I don't need them anymore. But someone else might. Someday. The ward's in their hands now. It always was, I guess. Question is, where do I go from here? I can't stay in this world. I've decided that much. I don't think it'll help Ellen any if people could find me. Anyway, Earth is rancid with root, but without the crystal. The root mother. They say she's still in the shell of an old church. She knows everything the root does. Hell, she could probably even give me a lead on the root if I just... No. That chase is over. But she could help me reach another world. Someplace where I can figure out what's next. If anyone can give me an alternate route, it's her. It's time I spoke to her again anyway. I've avoided her for too long. So that gives us just a tiny bit more insight into Ford and the relationship between him and Evelyn. Evelyn, I gotta learn that... not push that button. And I believe that was pretty much all the lore dump I could find in here. So we're gonna move on a little bit. Hi, gentlemen. I could not run through. Okay. Blood for the blood gods. Oh, hi, sir. I missed. Smack. You know what? Boom. And boom. Oh, hi there. Give me back my blood. was a bit more than I was expecting. Okay, let me also double check something here. I'm pretty certain it's already been confirmed, but I just wanted to... Yep, the boxes that I broke in here and the Tome of Knowledge is gone, so... That means once you've been through this area once before, it actually stays saved. Unless you're on somebody else's server. I never broke this, did I? Yeah, miss. Well, I was a little late on that, but... I don't know where you came from, sir. Oh, I know where you came from. How? Okay, I don't like that you could do that, but I can't. Okay. Didn't I break these? Oh, you can't. Never mind. Alright, and then I unlocked the door in here. So now I can come through here. And I already did all of his dialogue earlier on a different video. So now I'm going to use this. And we're going to travel back to the ward.
I'm not in the mood for chat.
Me neither. Because I could have just taken a right, couldn't I?
Needing any scrounge?
Ooh. Yes, please.
Later.
That's not what...
Needing any
No.
scrounge?
Yes.
Take care then.
I don't think I really needed all that iron, but... Okay, we're gonna come down here. We've been in that room. And we're going to explore and read the lore dump that I can in this area. Now, I had initially came down here while Tyrick and Leo were doing their upgrading and buying and all that stuff. But I realized we had a key card that I could use right here. We got that early on back at the Ford's hideout. Right at the start of the game, basically. And there were a bunch of monitors scattered around this area, and there's some downstairs too. trying to make out the lore of this, but I wasn't certain, and kind of ran out of time. Some impatient stuff, which, yeah, true. It's like the lore dump is long, so I can fully understand. Let's just move on and shoot things, maul things, and all that stuff. But it has left me curious, so I want to take this time to kind of come back down here and actually read a bunch of stuff. Ward 13 Command and Control Access Terminal. No unauthorized access. Electronic mail. Back in September 15th, 1968. Security Protocol Update. Commander Nathan Haskell to all. Security Protocol Update. Due to recent events, we will be amending our security protocol to require an additional photo ID check upon entry to Ward 13. Entry will still require use of personal security cards. However, an additional ID check will be performed upon entry to the ward. All security officers have been notified of the change, and the new protocol will take effect immediately. Okay. That was it from that. System diagnostic. Testing uplink success, memory success, and that was it. Okay. And we had one in here. And I think there were a couple things in here. Authorized access. Log. Yeah, there was a bunch of things. Casa. Eureka! It's taken us months, but we have finally reconnected a dreamer to Gabriel's world. Subject 2419-1 is online. The new bonded entity is vastly different from the previous one. Visual recordings are dim, but audio is greatly enhanced. So much so that our equipment cannot accurately record all of it. The new Guardian is belligerent toward the inhabitants, malicious even. I suspect it shares memories with the previous Guardian, consciously or not. It knows what the Fuzzies did and treats them accordingly. Fascinating. Okay, so Casa was this new uplink apparently. Okay, physical expedition. Sounds like the high-ups are planning an honest-to-God physical expedition to one of the worlds. Commander Neville has requested all operations managers to submit our recommendations. Given the things we've seen since bringing Casa online, the Guardian, the root creatures, the massacres, I think it's obvious what our stance has to be. June 20th, 1968. Casa's equipment is going bonkers. It keeps resetting itself to a specific set of parameters, not just the dreaming harness, but the recording equipment, diagnostics, and even life support. The effect seems to be coming from Casa herself, but none of us understand how that's possible. Per procedure, we tried to sedate and reboot Casa, but that has proven impossible. The system ignores our commands for sedation. Reg tried physically administering the drugs, of course, but the system automatically applied a reversal agent. I'm concerned if we try to overpower the system, we will end up killing the dreamer. So Casa's a dreamer. On the other hand, that may be our only option if this feedback loop doesn't resolve itself. We'll continue our observations for now, but after what happened with Gabriel and Clementine, I'm worried. They're everywhere. The root creatures from Casa's world. We were unprepared. How could we be? They attacked so quickly. Reg is dead. So many are dead. We've lost contact with Ward 16 and 17, maybe others. Those of us still alive have locked ourselves in Casa's room for now. But it won't be long before we're discovered. What the hell is happening? Oh, shit went to hell, apparently. The Dreamers. They're after the Dreamers. They've killed all but Casa already. It's just a matter of time. Except they aren't pounding on our door. They must know we're in here. If they're after Dreamers, why would they leave us alone? Unless Oh God, Casa, she's the gate! That's what I have to do then. We don't have any other choice. If we leave this room, they'll slaughter us. And if I'm wrong, well, one more dead dreamer won't matter much. If we're all dead. Abandoned. It's done. The system fought us at every turn, and then the root creatures began pounding at the door, as though they knew what we were trying to do. But it's over. She's dead. And the roots are still out there. We're preparing to make one final run for it. I don't know how far we'll get, but we'll die if we stay here. Harsgard's dreamer was in a feedback loop too. We have to tell them. If I was right about her being the gate, then... Your file corrupt. Of course. As usual. Electronic mail. A draft. Dear Sreg, I know you're dying to learn what the government's been doing since I moved into Ward 13. Let me tell you about dying. There's so much to tell. I don't know where to start. The red crystals weren't anything we thought, Reg. They're not. They're not power sources at all. They're conduits through space itself. I know. I wouldn't have believed it either. Wait until you see what they're doing. They connect the test subjects, dreamers. Test subjects, dreamers. They call... Oh, they've connected test subjects, dreamers, they call them, to some kind of guardian entities in other worlds. I don't mean other planets. I mean parallel worlds, side by side with Earth, but completely inaccessible apart from the crystals. Ford and Harsgard, you remember Captain Ford? Remember Captain Ford, dear? He was the recruitment official who visited us at the university. Have a few dreamers on a atoll offshore, and the primary reports sound like fairy tales, fauns, goblins, even magic. Of course, it can't actually be magic, but it certainly feels like it based on our current understanding of physics. It's hard to explain without being able to show you, Reg, but they won't let that happen until your transfer goes through. I don't even know if they'll allow this letter out, to be honest. It's fine. I'll show everything in person when you arrive. Our ward already has 2 dreamers connected. I'm supervising activation of a third in a few days. Gabriel, they call him. Though I get the feeling it's not his real name. I can't wait to see what he sees, to start investigating one of those worlds for myself. We're on the verge of something amazing, Reg. There's so much more to the universe than anyone thought, even Einstein. What wonders might be out there, just lying in wait for our discovery. See you soon, Belinda. Subject 2419-1. Preliminary Observations and Findings. Author Dr. Belinda Marsh, Operations Research Analysis Manager, Ward 13. Abstract. Commander Neville has asked for recommendations on which world should be chosen for our first physical expedition. Subject 2419-1 is the second dreamer bound to this so-called Fuzzies world, but the world has changed drastically since the loss of previous dreamer. With a new guardian entity, a new invading species, and widespread alterations to the world and inhabitants, it is fair to say it is no longer the Fuzzies world, and it is highly dangerous. It is my recommendation that we do not send a physical expedition to this world at this time. Keywords, Subject 2419, Gabriel, Casa, Dreamer, Fuzzies, Root Creatures. Background. Last year, Subject 2419, known as Gabriel, died in the Dreamer's chair when his guardian entity was killed by the inhabitants of his world, informally known as the Fuzzies. The Fuzzies were intelligent and warlike, yet they were caring toward each other. We still do not know why they turned on their guardian. In February of this year, we were finally successful in connecting a second dreamer when Subject 2419-1, herein referred to as Casa, bound to what appears to be a new guardian in the same world. We have been feverishly gathering data ever since. Preliminary findings. Casa's world is almost completely unrecognizable from before. Gabriel observed what appeared to be a massive living organism populated by small, fur-covered creatures called fuzzies. Oh, I wish I... Part of me is kind of curious if that's supposed to be a jab at something. Casa, however, sees a world covered in root-like growths, with little of the original landscape visible underneath it. Fuzzies are rarely seen at all, at least not alive. The world is now populated by a new violent species of creature. It is unclear where this new species came from. We saw no evidence of them in Gabriel's recordings, but they have eliminated a large percentage of the former population in a very short time. The new species appears to be plant-based, bearing a resemblance to multiple trees and roots. These creatures are violent and destructive, actively hunting the fuzzies, slaughtering them, then leaving the bodies behind while they hunt more. We believe there may still be fuzzies alive and in hiding, but given the ferocity of the root species, it is unlikely they will remain so very long. Conclusion and recommendation. I believe the fuzzies will not survive without some kind of intervention. However, I cannot recommend that a human scouting party visit Casa's world at this time. It is likely the root species will treat us the same as the fuzzies, and given the speed and ferocity with which they fight, a lone scouting party will not stand a chance, even with modern weapons. For now, I believe it is best that we continue our observations to learn what we can about the new species before engaging them. Okay. Testing up, blink, success, memory, success. So, taking what I just learned from this, here's what I think has been going on with this world. This alternate world that is pretty much just like us, up to the 40s or 50s, I guess, found dimensional crystals of some sort, those red things, and were able to create conduits with human subjects that they called dreamers, aka Gabriel and Casa and all this stuff, to where they could actually link up with some guardian or entity from a variety of different worlds and be able to kind of use them to explore and just kind of observe and investigate and all that stuff. Makes her into a safe, habitable or so before they started sending out people. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they killed Gabriel's guardian, which I guess killed Gabriel as well. And when they hooked up Casa into the same place, something drastically had changed, and the root, this invasive creature race, somehow took over that same world with the fuzzies, the most likely furry anthropomorphic creatures of sorts, and started killing them off. And the scientists behind this knew this was not a good idea to start sending any kind of physical expeditions yet until they learned more or see what happened. But somebody approved an expedition, and unfortunately that turned south to where the root managed to figure out how to come into our world, and the apocalypse happened with the root starting to try to wipe out humanity. And I guess whatever happened with these dreamers, it's spreading. It somehow isn't just linked to their conduits, but various other people sometimes seem to get sleep and somehow dream of becoming part of this root, of seeing through their heads, as talked about by the little kid and various other journals that I read in the last playthrough or two, that you can watch for those, because I did at least read most of those. But yeah, that's creepy, man. That's just freaking creepy. Also, this gave me chilling vibes. I'm guessing this is the audio that couldn't be picked up well enough without feeling distorted or so. And yet that unlocked a trait, I believe, called Elder Knowledge, which the more I increase that, the more experience I'll get, apparently. So I'll have to make certain that I tell Tyrick and Leo about that as well, so that they could take advantage of that if they haven't already. This was empty. And then there was really nothing in here. And I thought maybe there'd be a movie you could play off of this, but no, as far as I know so far, you can't interact with this, so nothing can be done here. A skeleton here, like full-on skeleton, and nothing else with this room so far. You can crash into the window in here to get what goodies was inside, as well as see a bunch of dead bodies that have been locked in here. And then there was this room, but I don't think I got a chance to read what was in here. System test failed. Hit and continue. Access terminal. No authorized user access. Log. Okay, so we got a couple maybe a couple things. We got no signal. Subject 2409 is online. Vitals are stable, but we're receiving no visual information, and the audio consists only of a low, persistent rumble interspersed by a seemingly random series of clicks. Attempts to find a pattern in the clicks have so far been fruitless. I'm convinced they're nothing more than signal noise, perhaps errors in the recording equipment amplified by the dreamer's subconsciousness. Or perhaps there's no signal at all. We've never tested what happens when a dreamer connects with nothing. Most likely Dr. Harsgard read the runes wrong, awaiting confirmation. And then Ward 16 reply. Harsgard claims he's not wrong and suggests we continue monitoring. We'll do so if only as CYA. Looks like we're stuck here for a while. Okay. Note from Private Waters. Dr. Itsaso, if I'm pronouncing it right. I heard a change in the audio last night. For about 20 minutes, starting at 2:11, I heard some kind of singing. That's the only way I could think to describe it. This was on top of the regular rumble and clicks. I left the tape in your office for your review. Also, be advised that I may have seen an anomaly on video as well. A brief, very faint pulse of light during the time of the audio anomaly. It may just have been an artifact on the screen, though, or even my imagination. It was very late after all. Light show. Hell, I owe Harsgard $10 for about 2 hours on April 6, 1966. Subject 2409's visuals lit up like the goddamn 4th of July. Dozens of lights pulsed on and off with no pattern we have yet discerned. Colors varied but remained mostly between blue and yellow wavelengths. After approximately 145 minutes, the pulsing began to decrease in frequency, and by T160, T160, they had ceased entirely. Audio was unchanged during this time. Finally, we have proof this dreamer's connected to something. Harsgard is never going to let this drop. And then error, file corrupted. Whoops. Error, file corrupted. And file corrupted. Okay, so this terminal is basically telling the earliest of their experiments to try to hook up a dreamer to the crystal conduit or whatever. to try to get some sort of video or audio confirmation of another world. And it started out very small, very light, until I guess they started getting success. And I'm eating a Reese's peanut butter cup. My apologies. Alright, and then there was this room that looked like was a operation from hell, and boy are there a ton of bodies just littered in here. One still draped and not as rotted as the rest, which means this might have been almost recently. Semi-recently. Anyways, let's see what this monitor has to say then. Log. Gabriel. The dreamer known as Gabriel, subject 2419, is online. Data is coming faster than we can deal with it. Gabriel's bonded entity guards a literal living world, some kind of massive biological organism that houses the guardian within it. The ground is flesh and responds to stimuli. The air is thick with moisture. The breeze shifts cyclically. Read the word. Like breathing. The inhabitants of the world are equally fascinated. Small, fur-covered bipedals that we've dubbed fuzzies for their resemblance to creatures from H.B. Piper's novels. Hold on a second. That makes... Now I need a... Now that they've put some kind of H.B. Pipers. No, that's not what I asked for. Not Beans Pipers, H-Beam. Oh. Huh. So, kind of a cross between a tiny cat-like Wookiee is the best description I can give to what they're trying to refer to here. Interesting. They appear to be sentient. They have no spoken language, but they build tools and structures from the bone-like growths found throughout their world. These observations are preliminary, of course, but they're so exciting. A new species, first contact. What revelations might we uncover? And then there's file corrupted. Fuzzy distrust. The Fuzzies have been acting stranger. At first, they had a kind of god-worshipper relationship with Gabriel's entity. But we've recently seen signs of fear and distrust. A few even threw rocks at their guardian. Could Gabriel's bond have somehow caused this? We've been very careful to observe only, not to interfere, but maybe the Fuzzies detected some subtle change we could not predict. Too subtle for us to notice, yet strong enough to cause a violent reaction? That seems implausible, but not impossible. A minority of my team is concerned this will affect our experiment. One team member is worried Gabriel himself might be in danger, though I've seen no evidence of that. Gabriel's vitals have been unaffected by the random attacks. A more valid concern is that the very act of observing is affecting what we observe. That may be valid, but it's not reason enough to wake the dreamer. Not yet. Have they been keeping them asleep the entire time? Gabriel was attacked today, or rather, the Guardian was. We're combing our records for any sign of provocation on our part, but so far have found nothing. Gabriel's been completely passive, allowing the Guardian to act independently. Most likely, whatever's happening predates Gabriel's bond. There have been more calls from the team to wake Gabriel. Still a minority, but it's true that his heart rate rose briefly during the attacks, but there have been no other signs that the attack affected him in any way. I've ordered observations to continue. We will see this through. Also, I didn't check that. File corrupted. File corrupted. Termination. Subject 2419 has been declared dead on Sunday, April 3rd, 1966. His guardian was killed, and his body consequently suffered a cardiac arrest. We lost input immediately. Needless to say, my team is devastated, and yet this presents exciting new information. This is the first time a dreamer has died in the chair. Tragic though Gabriel's death is, it proves the bond between dreamers and guardians is even stronger than we knew. Research in the fuzzy world has been put on hold for now. Our previous observations and these log entries will be transferred to another room for study while Gabriel's chair is prepared for the next dreamer. I know we'll be back. There's so much yet to learn. What happens when a world's guardian dies anyway? Probably a complete overrun of an invasive root species, perhaps? Yeah, I want to do one of these. Success. Success. Out of curiosity, did that change anything here? Nope, still errors. Okay, so that was more insight to Gabriel and their first exploration into the Fuzzy's world before the root attack, and explaining how those who are accidentally connected to the root while they're dreaming can actually feel the same hate and bloodlust and excitement for killing things. That is making those dreaming those feel very, oh my god, I hate feeling this way. That might explain things. This may explain how that's possible with how they were connected into the Guardian while Gabriel was remaining impassive and allowing the Guardian to do its thing. It could still feel what it felt, to the point that when the Guardian died, so did Gabriel, out of cardiac arrest, kind of believing he died. Kind of like the whole you die in your dream, you die for real kind of bits, I'm guessing. Alright, and now I'm hoping that this terminal will explain this Terminator kind of situation here. What happened? First, system diagnostic. Success. Success. So nothing different with those. Log. Okay. AC/DC, or just AC. In this room, please keep the air conditioner on at all times. The dreamer's entity lives in a frozen world in some places, colder than any recorded measurements on Earth, and seems to reflect aspects of that bond. In particular, she shows physical signs of discomfort at a temperature above 55 degrees. Those working in this area are encouraged to wear layers. File corrupted. Minor abnormality. The Guardian came across a clutch of orphaned polis. Apparently they had been lost in a blizzard, but the effect on Clementine was unexpected. Her noradrenaline levels dropped, and her body showed signs of lacrimation. Most of the team believes the Guardian, the Dreamer, or both were saddened at the discovery, but we have no record of Guardians ever having or elicting emotions. If only we could record emotional states somehow. It's unfortunate that we can't speak to the Dreamers without waking them, and that we can't wake them without risking loss of the bond. Ah, that's why they're keeping him asleep. New procedures. FYI, per Commander Neville's orders, we have sedated Clementine until her noradrenaline levels return back to normal. I guess this is now standard operation procedure whether a dreamer exhibits any potential unstable behavior. I suspect the source of this edict is Captain Ford. After what happened with Gabriel and with Harsgard about to connect a new dreamer to this clawbone entity, I'm guessing Ford doesn't want any more unnecessary risks. He's probably right. The janitor. Could someone please tell the janitor to leave the AC alone? That's the third time we've had to reboot Clementine this month. Error. And last frame. Little Clementine, we are not disintegrated at all. Rather, I think she shifted somehow. That she still exists somewhere along with everything else, including the poor janitor. Unfortunately, as to why, I have only conjecture. Reviewing Clementine's final tapes shows and in the very last frame, in one darkened corner, you can see this be Clawbone? Harsgard always described his unknown entity in fantastic terms, but what if he wasn't exaggerating? We know he brought his dreamer online at approximately the same time Clementine disappeared, after all. They're all as I said, conjecture. But interesting. So, I guess a mixture of bad working on the AC with the janitor kind of being in the way and whatever was going on with Clementine in here may have caused things. Also, I just want to point out, did I fucking call it? There were hats littered around in here that I called. Looked like frickin' references to Clementine from The Walking Dead. Are they making that kind of fucking reference here? I mean, holy shit. I was joking. By the way, we found, last time we were down here, we also found a master key, I think further down. But I don't think we actually really checked to see what that was used for. I think we tried using it on a console that we'll double check back downstairs in just a moment. But that didn't work. But we didn't come back here, which turned out that this key worked on this door that opens up this little room here, which there is a diary that I have not read yet, but also was over here or here or something with a shiny new weapon that I have to upgrade the fuck out of. Whoops, wrong bell. Yeah, yeah. Alright, anyways. Whoopsie doodles. Okay. From Mark Klinger. Date July 21st, 1967. An explosion in research knocked out the circuit breaker in the north wing. The ward is running on backup power, but repair crews have been dispatched. Patients remain stable. No major incidents. the next day. Main power is restored, but security camera 12 is offline. I sent Smith to check the cabling, and he reported that the lines were fried. I filed a service ticket with maintenance. About a little bit over a week later. I'm a little on edge. There was an incident with patient 2923, Clementine, last night. She was agitated, like she was having a bad dream. The doctors and nurses were scared, something about PSK levels being way off the graph. It took 3 orderlies to pin her down. I can't say for sure, but I think I saw a microscope fly. I think I saw a microscope fly off the table and hit one of the orderlies square in the back of the head. No one threw it. The damn thing just shot off the table. The orderly is... Apologies. The orderly is in the med lab. 27 stitches. Could have been worse. Much worse. Over another week later, almost close to 2 weeks, Dreamer 2923 was at it again this evening. Started around midnight. The patient was moaning and crying in her sleep. Wasn't long before the crying turned to screaming and the medical crew rushed to the room. The orderlies could barely keep her down. Never seen anything like it. How does a 16-year-old child have enough strength to take on 3 full-grown men? Doctors were yelling at the nurses to sedate her, but the tranquilizers didn't take effect soon enough. They finally managed to strap on the restraints, but the patient thrashed around so much that she broke her right forearm. Broke her damn arm against the straps. Okay, so that was it from there. So that apparently gives the impression... One moment, please. So that gives the impression that it's possible whoever that they were bonded to were either starting to seep through into them. Most likely whoever Clementine was bonded to had telekinetic powers of some sort. Maybe. Or that being bonded to an entity was giving them these telekinetic powers of some sort. Either way, those are interesting. Very, very interesting. And that was it from down here. So now I'm going to quickly try to go down here before I feel like time is almost up with this video recording before it starts killing the beginning. Basically, there was a room down here. This would have been locked even if you had the key card to open this, until you found a fuse back up in basement 2 to put back up here and turn on the power, which would then activate this to allow you to put the key card in here and to gain access in here. Now, we discovered that you need to turn off the power for a brief moment to stop this fan, so that you can go into that secret room where I found the Ward 13 master key and a couple of goodies. And that was about it in here. Other than that, I don't think there were too many monitors down here with any kind of lore to go off from. And I keep thinking that's something when it's not. I think. No lore to be found in here either. Yeah, there wasn't really anything in here. Now, this looks like something interesting, but we don't really know what yet. All we know is that there was this, and right now system lock is enabled. And again, I thought maybe I could use the key here, but it does not appear to work. So for now, this room remains a mystery, but this is giving me a bit of a, I mean, look at the way the reflection is. Feels like this is potentially a portal door to a potential mirror realm of some sort, or some other realm. And then, yeah, this is behind the fan. to where you can get that stuff. So, yeah, I think that is about it in regards to the current lore dump of this room. And just to make it clear, there was this way as well, but there was only a bandage and something else, nothing lore dump related. Now, there was something I forgot to show earlier back in Ford's thing, but we took a glimpse in it when we started the game, and it was kind of a map of the labyrinth, and that turned out to be related to when we discovered the invisible tower that appeared out of nowhere after we fought the dragon, and where we ended up using it to teleport ourselves to another world. But the map mentioned some places about using certain color teleporters to get us to certain spots. Now, right now, I have no idea if it's actually trying to tell us a appropriate teleporting destination to get us into places, because I think we pretty much explored all that we could there at the time. But maybe we missed something. Maybe I'll find something more or find a correct path. But until then, that's it for this part of the video. We'll see if there's anything else that I can take a look at before I have to call myself a night. But for those of you who are only watching this, I do thank you for watching. I know this was mostly lore dump and barely anything action-packed or construction, but for those of you who are sticking around for the streams with me, Tyrick and Lilo, and have been interested in trying to find out more about this world like I was, then I hope we were able to learn something together and that I could keep things entertaining enough for you with my voice acting these journals of sorts. And until next time, gang, I wish you all a good rest of your night, morning, day, afternoon, evening, whenever it is in your neck of the woods. Take care. Meow.